everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I've got with me Max and Elijah, and I'm still getting used to that new intro music. It's like,
Oh yeah, it feels different, like you're in a
yeah,
different world.
I guess, I mean, I
But it's
haven't, sorry,
I'm glad that the other one was getting old. It was too
yeah,
predictable.
yeah,
Jason knew the beat. He could
he
like as soon
could,
as we're coming out, it's like
yeah,
he's doing the music. So now this
uh-huh.
is a little bit different. It's a nice change.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really need to explore it more often, the StreamYard. They've been doing a lot of changes and updates recently, so I haven't had the chance to really sit and explore all
Is
that.
there not a way of adding your own hold music in there or something?
There is,
Is
and
there a
stuff
way
like
that you
that.
can upload your own
You can. I mean, you have to. It has to still be copyright protected and all that sort of
royalty
stuff.
free?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's fine. It's like
Ewok celebration in there.
my
Everything is
mindset
nice.
doesn't go too crazy into that sort of thing when I'm doing this sort of stuff. So it's just like
Right.
it probably shows. How's everyone's week been? We haven't been on for like 2 weeks, guys. So what's been news? What have you been checking out? What new shows and movies and stuff? Anything much?
Is Max frozen?
Oh no, I'm just waiting for you guys.
Okay,
Oh, it looked like
Elijah,
you're a little lagging.
what you checked out, Elijah?
New. I mean, I just watched Oscars and kind of happy with some of the
Oh
Oscar
yeah,
wins and stuff
I
like
keep
that.
forgetting that was this.
I'm happy. Nora got Best Picture and Best
Right.
Actress because I really liked that movie.
That was for
So it was a good
Amora.
Oscar year.
Okay.
Nora,
I Anora, yeah.
Nora.
I
It's not your type
No,
of movie
I'm
at all.
guessing not.
Like you would not like it.
Yeah.
You would not like it. Just the subject matter and just the type of movie that it is in general. You
Okay.
wouldn't be
Fair enough.
intrigued by it. But as a movie, as what it is,
Hmm.
it's captivating, and they keep it fresh by kind of changing the feel of the movie, like at least a good
Cool.
3 times in the movie.
All
They
right.
kind of change gears, which is always nice when you don't expect a movie
Right.
to go in a completely different direction.
Hmm.
So this movie does it like 3 times. So like by the end, you're just like, oh, it really takes you for like a trip of like
Yeah.
these characters and stories.
That's
So it's
cool.
happy that won so many, and Mikey Madison got Best Actress for that, which is
Okay.
cool. She's a young new actor, and she to get or actress to get an Academy Award like you know early in your
Right.
career, that's pretty amazing. So,
Yeah. Doesn't happen that
but
often.
other than that, obviously we'll talk about it. But Daredevil we watched together, and
Yeah.
that was
Hmm.
great. And like
Yeah.
that's other than that, I don't think I've watched any new caught up on TV shows or anything that's like streaming right now.
Hmm. Max, what about yourself?
I've been watching White Lotus and Severance and
Okay.
Invincible. Invincible, I'm sure we'll talk
Invincible. We'll
about in
talk
a bit
about. Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
was one of the biggest episodes they've ever had.
Hey,
There was a
we're
lot of
just having
Oh,
cameos.
a
earthquake!
little earthquake.
Yep.
Yeah, I just felt
Well,
that.
I didn't feel it.
It's a baby one.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Max, you were
There was a
saying?
lot of
California
cameos to break down.
earthquakes
Yeah,
live
there
on
you
the
go.
internet.
Exactly. Yep. Sorry, Max.
There's a lot of fun
Oh, we're having
cameos and
another
stuff to
one.
break down.
We're
Hey,
having
Chris.
another one.
No, we're
Oh,
not. Not that. That's. You're just shaking the camera.
shaking my camera.
Yeah. How you doing, Chris? Sorry, Max. Again,
I know
third
you're
time.
good.
Yep.
There's just a lot of good stuff to break down in that Invincible episode that I can't wait to talk about later. A lot of
Sure.
cameos that I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person that caught. There was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fun background stuff. A lot of stuff from the comics they couldn't use because they used characters like Spawn and Savage Dragon and
Right.
the all of Rob Liefeld's characters, the Brigade, and
Yeah.
all that. But it was cool with the characters that they could use. They brought in the character
Okay.
Britt, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. But
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
we also saw Mickey 17 yesterday,
Yes. Yes, we
which
did.
was great. The new Bong Joon Ho
Well,
movie.
let's talk about that just for a minute. I mean, we both saw this yesterday.
Oh, okay. I haven't. Did you guys both go together, or did you see it
Yeah, we
separately?
did in the end. Yeah, we
Okay.
went together. We decided to go late afternoon kind of thing. What were your thoughts, Max, on this film?
It was good. I'm a big fan of the director. I
Hmm.
don't think it was his best movie. It didn't hit the highs for me that Parasite hit,
Right.
but I really liked it. It was weird in a good way. Uh, there were some plot points that I felt like kind of went nowhere, but
Yeah.
as a whole, I really liked it.
I mean, for me, I don't want to give away spoilers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It was kind of like there was stuff that was fascinating, and there was definitely an absurdity to this dark humor that was existing there. but I feel like there was motivations that I wish I knew a bit more about.
Hmm.
Especially like the two lead characters were just so absurd, which was well, the two secondary characters, I should say, not leads, but the husband and wife character here,
The
uh,
antagonists.
the antagonists, they were just absurd, and they were at a level
Yes.
of extreme absurdness without any sort of drive, and they never changed
I
throughout
actually
the
thought the
course of the movie.
opposite. I
Really?
thought they were an interesting parallel to people like Trump and Musk
No,
and
but yeah, we saw that, but yeah,
people they
sorry.
well the
Yeah.
people they catered to. But I thought it was an interesting way to
Hmm.
develop them. Of without
Right.
giving away spoilers or anything like that. You
Right.
had the husband who was a religious fanatic who, in
Hmm.
the end, was not that religious and not that fanatical and just kind of
Sure.
wanted the clout and the glory,
I kind
which
of
is very
gathered that.
Trumpian.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mixed with the Elon futurism.
Yeah.
And the wife was just batshit crazy. I don't know who she was supposed to
That
represent.
was it.
I
It's
think
like
just
she was.
I think she was just the idea of pure American, unadulterated nonsense. It's the idea of how
Yeah.
we chew up and regurgitate
I
everything from other cultures to even each other.
I
And she
get
was kind
that.
of the proponent of that.
Yeah, I get that, but I still feel like the development was so small in these characters.
Yes.
They were two-dimensional characters all the way through, and I never saw any
Yes.
third dimension out of most of those characters.
I mean, characters like Kai didn't really go
Mhm.
anywhere.
Yeah, that was
Yasha
Sean
kind of went was
Yoon.
like kind of up and
Yeah,
down the whole movie. At one point, she's
yeah.
addicted to drugs, and they never mention it again.
Yeah, it was again. It just there was these random moments that were just out of character for me, and it was like it was again. It's worth seeing if you're invested in checking it out. I thought as a sci-fi film, it was definitely
Yeah,
kind of cool
fun.
and original. I like the originality of what it was. And there were things that worked in it, and there were things that personally didn't work into it. The scientists were all a little weird too, and too
That was the
much for my
point. They were
liking.
all just supposed to be off. Just like the
Yeah,
guy in the pigeon suit walking around that's never really acknowledged.
yeah, and I just don't
That's just
understand
him.
the
That's it.
absurdness. Yeah,
I understand the absurdity in some of it.
yeah,
I think it's a lot of it is just him poking fun at capitalism and
sure,
not just
yeah,
that, but the way capitalism
okay,
regurgitates people. And in terms
right,
of scientists,
yeah,
it was very much of like they were very. They were, sometimes they were smart, sometimes they weren't. They were just kind of throwing
yeah,
shit at the wall. And the
yeah,
idea was that they were failing upwards. It was that they were just liked and failing upwards. I
yeah,
think the pigeon
yeah,
guy
yeah,
was just
come
very
on.
much just the idea of, well, of course they need to have a mascot.
Right, yeah, sure, yeah, and he was the pigeon of the pigeon, yeah. Now
Yeah.
I
The one thing that bothered me the most
yeah,
was the character development. Stuff like Stephen
yeah,
Yoon and Mickey 17 was
yeah,
supposed to be, or Mickey, were supposed to be
yeah,
best friends, or at least
yeah,
friends, but
yeah.
I never really bought that connection because they
No,
had so few scenes together.
yeah, I
Um,
agree. There was things that were missing. Again, worth checking out if you're kind of
yeah, good
curious.
movie, fun watch.
Yeah, and if you're into obscurity, like really deep end, obscure kind of dark humor, there's definitely some of that there.
It was pretty absurd. It was like,
But
it
yeah,
was, I'd say his most absurdist movie.
right, okay. Because I haven't seen any of his other films, so I'm like, I was just kind of
You haven't
curious.
seen
But
Snowpiercer,
I actually haven't.
Okja
No. Oh wait a minute, Snowpiercer. The what? Oh, the movie.
on the train?
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't. Oh, I didn't
yeah, that's
realize he
him.
directed that. Oh, okay, I did see that.
And
Yeah,
then
that
Parasite. Parasite was excellent.
I miss Parasite. Yeah, I didn't see it. I still need to check it out sometime. Anyway, that's
I will say my
thoughts
last
on
thing about
Mickey
this
Seven.
movie
Yeah,
is that this guy, this director, really just hates capitalism. He
yeah.
just all of his movies are like different
That was
ways of
apparent.
saying, "Look how they screw you."
That was apparent. That was apparent, and that was some of the humor of it. It was just the characters. I wish there was a bit more development in almost every single
Even with
character.
Mickey, I mean, he was his arc. I won't spoil it, but the last thing Mickey 18 says to 17, I
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, that's a really great line. It'd be great if they built up to it
yeah,
to give that
yeah.
emotional moment some resonance." But
Yeah, yeah. There was just moments that suddenly just snap and they changed, direction of character.
yeah, it was too
Um,
much. It was too much and too short of a
yeah,
movie. It was two
yeah,
hours and 20 minutes, and I think
yeah.
even though at
Was
points
it
it
that
kind of
long?
felt like it
Wow.
dragged, it
Okay.
needed to be condensed and
Yeah,
more character focused rather than
yeah,
just
yeah.
plot focused.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. That was my thought. Again, we'll pick up on other stuff that we watched during the week, some of the bigger stuff. I haven't really watched anything outside of all the mainstream stuff. I'm about to start watching Andor again because Andor season 2 comes out in a month's time, so month and a bit. So I need to recap that, and I honestly haven't watched it since I first sat through it. So I need to do that recap. And
You never did a second watching?
I haven't done a second watching of it. No,
Hmm.
I need to get my mindset back into that. Yeah, no,
I haven't
Andor.
rewatched it either. It feels like a very long show, even though it's not that
Jason
long.
It's 12.
apparently
Yeah,
has
12
watched
episodes.
it over and over and over again. So I
Yes,
think
so he
Jason
says.
has like watched
Oh
it
yeah,
like many times.
yeah.
So he's gonna
I'm
be like,
convinced
"Oh
he just
yeah,
watches
don't you
the scene
remember
of the
from
guy eating
episode
cereal.
3?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's gonna know every little bit about it.
yeah. Um, you guys saw the sad news of Gene Hackman passing and
How
kind
could
of
Yeah.
you not
the
see it? It's been
tragedy
just
of what happened.
like horrifying tragedy with the death
Yeah,
after another. It just keeps being
yeah,
more tragic.
yeah. I mean, it was really sad. I mean, for those who don't know, apparently his wife had passed away a week earlier uh, in the house, and because of Gene Hackman's was it not dementia? What was it?
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Obviously, he was wandering the house and didn't know or didn't kind of
He
configure what to
probably
do.
kept forgetting to get help.
Yeah, and so
I
he
had
passed away
Alzheimer's.
a week
I have
later.
like a grandmother with Alzheimer's. I know how it
Right.
is, and I
Yeah.
guarantee he was wandering the house doing something. He sees
Yeah.
the dead body. He goes, "Oh no!" He breaks down. He's like, "I gotta get
Yeah.
help." He
Yeah.
goes to look for his phone, and
Over
then
and
just
over and over
Can't
again.
forget what
remember.
he's
That keeps
doing.
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
And it must have been
he
such
probably
a
had to go relive it like a bunch of
yeah.
times because he kept forgetting or
Yeah.
not, you know.
It's just such a
Yeah,
trauma.
it's probably yeah.
Yeah. So he passed because of oh, they mentioned what was
He
it?
had a another thing going on, and
Yeah.
he just old and not being taken care of,
Right.
and
The
she was his
medication stuff like that.
caretaker.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I'm
so
sure
it
with
was.
his Alzheimer's, he was forgetting to eat, forgetting to
Yeah. Well, that's
do a
it. Yeah.
lot, forgetting to drink
Yeah.
water. It's probably just kind of yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Michelle Trachtenberger from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That was sad too. The family decided not to kind of
They
give.
don't want
They
people
didn't want
knowing
an
why.
autopsy kind of
Yeah,
thing. So we don't know exactly how she passed, but you know she was only 39 years old, and I remember when she popped up in the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So yeah, heart condition. Yeah, that's it. It was heart condition, and that was related to oops sorry that was related to Gene
Gene
Hackman there,
Hackman.
I think. You know, things that it's kind of like things suck, unfortunately. Something that may suck to some people and may not suck to other people. Kathleen Kennedy.
George is happy about it.
transition.
It
Look
depends
how
on
happy
your
George
point
is in
of
that photo.
view. Okay, Kathleen
Oh, not
Kennedy.
everything's a certain point of view, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, plans to retire from being president of Lucasfilm, but she still is going to be very active in producing movies. Now, there's a lot of people that say she's a terrible, head of company, but the reality is she is an incredibly excellent producer. She has produced
yes.
some
I think
of
people
the
forget that. I think
best
people,
movies ever come out now, from the 80s kind of thing.
yeah, I think people forget her actual track record. They just go, "I didn't like the Star Wars sequels."
Right. But the thing is that as head of a company, you are spread much thinner, and we've seen that, through Kevin
Well, it's a
Feige. The
different
more that has to
job
be put
too. I
on,
mean,
yeah,
you also
oh,
have to
totally
blame the
different job.
producers that were on those movies. I mean, it's more
Right.
on them than it was on her. I mean, as head of the studio,
Well,
she's making sure that the universe is cohesive and that the plans
yeah,
for are marketable. Not that these
yeah,
movies are going to be an excellent watch. I mean, it's just a different
right.
job.
Yes, yeah. So ultimately, I'm really happy that she will go back to be producer without necessarily the pressure.
Mhm.
I'm sure this first year she's going to be uh, stepping back. I think they're going to announce a new kind of head of Lucasfilm during Celebration. I'm guessing, but she will be around in an official capacity to make sure that transition runs smoothly, like any good company should do. But it does open up her schedule to go back to just being a producer again, which is what she does best. You know what? I want to see what somebody else as showrunner, as the sorry, not showrunner, as head of Lucasfilm will do. I'm curious to know what that kind of entitles. And obviously, it doesn't just mean Star Wars; it means all the other franchises that Lucasfilm have ownership
Yeah,
over.
there's rumors that's Kevin Feige, and they want him to push
Yeah,
literally all of Lucasfilm stuff, including rebooting Indiana Jones and stuff like that.
I think it's going to
yeah.
be Seth Green is just going to make everything a comedy.
Everyone's
That'd
an
be
actor
hysterical.
now.
That'd be hysterical. No, I mean,
Seth
there's a lot of people
Green
saying that.
era of like just everything is just going to be like a comedy,
Yeah, I mean, there's
like
a
a
lot of
So
people
he
Wayne,
saying.
doesn't
like
greenlight
Neil,
that
like
Star
Yeah.
Wars project. He
Naked
did get
Gun
that.
type thing.
Make Star Wars. What's it called? It started with a D.
I was
Oh,
just talking about the one he got canned. I
yeah,
just
the one
finished
that
watching that
never
2 weeks
got to the
ago.
light of day. I forgot the name of it. Make that canon. No. Apparently, it's pretty bad though, from what I hear.
I don't
Stepping
know. I was
back on the
talking to one of
subject.
the writers, and he was telling me some stuff, and he liked it. The writer liked it.
Yeah, they were all probably high at the time, but anyway, when they wrote it, but they were probably very high at the time when they wrote it. Detours, thank you.
Detours,
Yes, Chris,
yes,
that's it. Thank you.
yes.
You started with
Just
a
love
D.
the Robot Chicken Crew
It's
making
been a
Star
while.
Wars. It's not. I don't think it's as
Yeah,
bad as
yeah,
people think it
yeah,
was. I think from what it sounded like to me, it was just too blue. It was
yeah,
too dark and
yeah.
too.
I'd seen some footage and animated scenes and stuff like that, and it just like it didn't quite pique my interest enough. But anyway, getting back on track because it isn't Seth Green who is going to be doing anything related to Star Wars like that. I would say that I mean, well, a lot of people are kind of hoping that it's going to be Dave Filoni and John Favreau be a
That
duo
would
in
make
charge. It's
I
sense.
like
don't think Favreau
no,
would do it,
it
but I
would be
think Filoni
terrible.
would.
I think it would be terrible, and I don't think Filoni's the right person. He's the artist.
He's too
You
invested
don't.
in his own
You
stories, and that's not
you
to say
don't.
his stories
Oh,
are
totally.
bad.
Yeah, no, you don't want the artist to be the money man, the person who has to budget everything, that has
Oh,
to
that's
do
true.
all the, you really do need someone who is a financial businessman to be in charge of something like Lucasfilm. And that's, I think, the big issue with Kathleen Kennedy. She took on the job for George Lucas as he requested her, but it was the first time she'd ever taken on anything that was away from the artistic side of things. Being a producer, you have a certain amount of coordination, but you still have an artistic input to that sort of thing. I think the head of Lucasfilm needs to be totally business oriented, very similar to the way Bob Iger is, to Disney, so to speak.
I have heard a rumor that it's going to be announced that it's Scorsese, and he's going to get weird with it.
We don't know who is
Really
going to
dark.
be. Yeah, I know. We have no idea who is going to be in charge, but I'm sure that they'll end up by
I think we need someone who
Picking
hasn't been
somebody,
involved in Star
obviously.
Wars before.
Yeah,
Because the problem is, everyone who's working on Star Wars right now has their own opinion on what Star Wars
sure.
should be, and it's all clashing with each other. And it's not
Everybody's
just
class.
across one medium; it's all
Yeah.
of the mediums.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the movies have never felt, and the TV shows have never felt more different than the comics,
Yeah.
and the comics have never felt more different than the video games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just everyone has their own opinion on how strong the Force should be, and they have this Bible supposedly, but that only really affects
Yeah.
big ideas and big characters. A character
Yeah.
like Kit Fisto can kind of do whatever you want in a comic because they don't really care that much about him.
Right.
But Vader is so rigid where you have to use him in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just think Star Wars needs cohesion
Yeah.
across everything, not just
Yeah.
with certain characters and how Vader's
Yeah.
appears.
Well, the one thing that Vader can't lose to too many characters, otherwise he looks weak if he keeps losing all the time.
That they,
So-
they have specific rules
Same with
about when
Grand
he can
Moff.
lose.
Same with Grand Moff Tarkin. But I'd also like to see the
No, I
dark
think
side of
Tarkin's
that,
been losing.
where he just
He's
wins
been
all
the
the
guy in the
time.
comics that's
Yeah.
it's been losing because you can't have Vader lose every time. Vader has to have his own ongoing conflict
Right.
with winning.
Yeah,
And,
and I think that's
that
also the
makes-
problem with Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn. He keeps losing all the time.
And he loses in stupid ways. You
Yeah.
build him up so big, and he's
To a
basically like
bunch
"Ooh,
of
this
little
is a banana
rebels.
peel."
Yeah, but but it is. We need to see why they win, and I feel like that is also that Disney element of like, you can't have the bad guys winning all the time, but the reality is the bad guys have
They
won
need.
these battles.
That is
Palpatine
what I'm
won the
excited about
battle.
Andor. They're
Yeah,
showing that huge massacre, and while it's a horrible
sure.
tragedy within
The
the
Gondor,
universe,
yeah,
yeah, it
Goron,
gives the
Goron,
Empire some
Gondor.
weight behind them. They can't
Yeah,
just be dumb stormtroopers in every scene. We have to
sure.
show why they're feared.
Yeah, the Goron Massacre it's going to be called, and it's appeared in the comics, I believe, in the books, and it's like one of the biggest massacres of uh, of the Star Wars universe kind of thing over the general public. Supposedly, get this, Elijah. Supposedly, Grand Moff Tarkin, in the books, I believe at least, lands a Star Destroyer just straight in the courtyard on top of people. It just crushes them.
A courtyard of where?
Goron, I guess, is the planet that they.
Somewhere? Oh, it just
Yeah,
lands
some
on.
too many bricks.
It's a big
Yeah,
ship to be landing. It's like City
yeah,
Block
Star
of
Destroyer
landing or
could.
whatever.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it would crush everything. Anyway,
Does that mean he
yeah,
has the right of way, though? We discussed this. I mean, if a
I
ship is
don't
landing, if a ship
know.
is that
I don't
big,
know.
do they technically have, and they have
Uh huh.
clearance from the Empire, do
Yeah.
they have the right of way?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of an insurance disaster.
Yeah. Well, we'll jump into Andor a little bit more. I'm just going to jump through a few other quick little notes and stuff like that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to get an R-rated live-action adaptation of The Last Ronin, which could be kind of fascinating, actually.
I could see that working.
Yeah.
That could be
I'm
cool.
so excited. This is one of
Uh,
my favorite recent
Yeah.
hardcovers. I
Uh-huh.
got Sketch Inside from Kevin Eastman
Oh,
oh,
of
nice.
heck
The
yeah.
Last Ronin.
That's cool.
This is the book everyone should be reading. This
Yeah.
is
That's.
absolutely
I hear it's
awesome.
very
It
good.
is
I
the
hear it's very
best
good.
turtle story in years.
Okay. Well, that being adapted to a live-action feature film and in rated R could be kind of fascinating. I don't know when they're going to start that exactly, but it'll be in the near future. It seems like there's enough push to make it done right.
I don't know. You probably have this written down, but they're
Mhm.
re-releasing the original movie into theaters, and I think
Oh
it's
no
got
way!
re-edited or with darker or with extra like the cutout
What?
footage or something in it.
What?
Yeah,
I've never
yeah,
heard
yeah.
that.
It was like back in theaters, and then the tagline was like, um, you know, something
Uh huh.
darker than the original or more. I think they're adding stuff or cutout scenes to it that they didn't put in the original,
Oh really? I
like
have
at a
not heard
director's
that.
cut or something.
No way.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick. But I thought I
The
saw an
first
ad
one
saying it's
was
coming back to
decent.
theaters.
Like it was decent as a movie, even when I saw it back in the
Yeah, the first
early
one was like okay.
'90s. Yeah.
I like the first two. I mean, both The Secret of the Ooze is
Second
good.
Yeah. I remember the third one being a lot better than it was when I first saw it. For some reason, in our theaters, I really enjoyed it, and I rewatched it again like about a year or two back, and I'm going, "Wow, that's a piece of crap." It was bad.
That was the
Yeah,
problem with the sequels at that time. Was that
yeah,
after you hit two, it just became for the
yeah.
kids that know the IP, and it wasn't
Uh
really
huh.
for anyone at that point. It was just shitting out movies.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Well, okay, that might be worth the check out. I've never heard not heard of that one. DC news. We're getting this information apparently that DC are planning on doing two live action films a year, one animated film a year, two live action shows a year, and two animated series a year.
It seems like a pretty diversified slate.
Huh?
Seems like a pretty diversified slate. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not what Marvel did. I feel like that's what Marvel did the stupid thing of being like,
yeah,
we're going to do a year where we're going to have one movie in theaters and six shows on Disney Plus.
yeah,
I don't think it was actually that amount, but it felt like that
yeah.
amount.
It felt
And
like it. Yeah,
they bogged people down.
yeah. I mean,
I
that's
think
still quite a lot, though, when you consider the fact that
not
two
really
live
6 months
action.
apart because
Yeah, I
the movies are
guess.
6 months apart. You get one
I
animated
guess.
film that's going to be mostly unrelated.
Yeah. Well,
DC's
some of
always
the
done animated films too, so it's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
in line with what
yeah.
they've
You're
always
right. Yeah,
done.
that's fair enough too. They'll keep on doing those. Crypto shorts are going to be part of something related to Superman, the live action, which again
I
I
think
think
it's
is
going to be
actually
a bunch of things pre-release.
yeah. I mean, I that's fine. I like the fact that when a movie releases a four-part comic prior to the events in the movie, or in this case, this sort of thing. They used to do it a lot with The Walking Dead would do like these little shorts that they would
Yeah,
drop online and things like. And I actually think it's very creative. It's a creative way to get your, even if it's got nothing to do with the main arc of what the film's all
it's
about.
different insight into the universe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So if you do these little weblog series pieces, then you're going to have these moments like that. So I think that's actually a very cool idea that that James Gunn and Peter Safran are doing with this to kind of introduce the audience to some of these little elements, but
I
not.
just wish they were doing it with all of the JLA characters in the movie. I would love to see shorts from their perspective,
There
not of
might be
like the
comic
events of the
books.
film, because I don't know that, but
Yeah.
that I think that'd be pretty cool to get to see those characters get a little bit of a spotlight for a short.
Yeah.
Because they
I mean,
shows like Hawk Girl, Guy
yeah.
Gardner,
Yeah.
Mister Terrific.
Yeah.
Don't they have like Metamorpho in the movie? Like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those characters, I'd love to see shorts with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be comic book related stuff for that and all that.
There already is. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pumping stuff
Well,
out.
obviously related directly to tie into the film directly, right?
No, that's what I mean. They've already announced like a
Oh, really?
Superman special with a
Okay.
forward from James Gunn to tie it to the Superman movie.
Oh, okay. Right.
And then there's some characters I think there's like Metamorpho just got a solo series
Right.
because he was announced in the movie. They want readers to be familiar with him going into the movie.
Okay.
So they're releasing it now. So by the time the movie comes out, the trade will be out.
Makes
There was just a
sense.
Hawk Girl series that was announced when the character was announced to be in the movie for the same
Ah,
reason.
okay. That's
Yeah,
cool.
they've been doing stuff. I think there's a Mr.
Then,
Terrific book in the works too.
right. Yeah, that all completely makes sense, and the way that James Gunn would tie that
But
great
he's
universe
actually
together.
been. It's interesting, and people have different opinions on this. But he's also doing a Peacemaker book that ties into the Peacemaker show. I guess in spirit. I don't know if the events are in line with it, but he is collaborating with
Right.
them. I don't know if he wrote it, but I know he wrote. He gave them parameters, and I don't think he was a guiding. I don't know what word they use
Hmm.
for them, like for
Yeah.
his job from that book, but he worked on the new Peacemaker book too.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I'm going back to
Yeah.
the Turtles.
Oh
It's
yeah.
coming in theaters March 16th and 19th. I'm
Okay.
looking it up online right now. I saw a different image that gave more information, so I can't. I'm trying to find
Okay.
what I originally saw. But anyways,
All right.
2 days in theaters this month.
Cool. Awesome. Nice. Just jumping back into it, the first two animated shows, by the look of it, is Starfire and Green Lantern, um, which this is kind of like I'm guessing this is an official logo. It looks like it. My Adventures with
Green
Man, they're
Green
doing a lot of
Lantern.
Lantern.
cartoons.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Well.
those
Now
are both.
cartoons.
Yeah, those are not going to be canon to the DCU.
Okay. All right. So they're actually.
I think
I
Starfire might be,
Yeah.
but My Adventures with Superman or My Adventures with
The
Green
Green
Lantern
Lantern.
is in the My Adventures with Superman universe.
I mean, it wouldn't. I don't know if any of the animated stuff necessarily needs to lock into the
Yeah, it seems like they're just
full.
doing with the old DC strategy,
Yeah.
just keeping
Yeah.
releasing animated stuff
Yeah.
separately for the younger audience,
Yeah.
and I
I
think
agree.
that's fair and probably a smart move.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. My Adventures of the Green Lantern. Would I go see TMNT in the theater? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um, are they part of the animated Adventures of Superman? I'm gonna guess yes. There'd be a
I think
tie-in.
Green
Yeah.
Lantern is. I think if Starfire was, it would be My Adventures with. I think that's going to be the
Maybe
branding.
we don't know. I mean, I feel like they're definitely all intertwined together. It looks like even the
No,
font.
no.
You don't think
Definitely don't
so?
intertwine. I think My Adventures with
Really?
Superman is its own contained show, and the Green Lantern
Yeah.
show is a spin-off of that. That's why they have the
Okay.
My Adventures with branding.
All right. Okay. All right.
Starfire
So
it just says Starfire. Like, go to the next slide.
yeah.
You see how it says My Adventures with?
Yeah.
Like
No,
that's like
I got that. I just feel like there's a vibe that the color dynamic of that feels
no, it's just
like it
Starfire
exists.
colors in space.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, when they get to the My Adventures of the Teen Titans, I'm pretty sure that they'll
Well,
incorporate
I
those
think the
characters.
Starfire shows because they already announced the Teen Titans show is in the
Yeah,
works,
I saw that.
and out
A
of all
show
the
or
Teen
movie,
Titans,
was it?
movie, I believe.
Yeah, I
Actually,
think it was
I
a
think you're
movie.
right.
Yeah.
But weirdly, Starfire is very popular among the current kid generation. I don't
Right.
know why she's the
It's because I
standout
think
of
they're
that group.
familiar with her from the cartoons.
Mm.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think Raven would be the popular one from this
Or Justice
generation? If
League
they're
and
all
that's
kind
The
of
okay.
like,
goth one, yeah, yeah,
they're all like love Billie Eilish and shit. I feel like Raven
sure,
kind of personifies that. I don't
yeah,
know.
I agree.
What do I know
You
though?
can't predict these
Um,
teenagers nowadays. You can't. These
yeah.
teenagers today.
I'm sure we'll be seeing it all when they release the Teen Titans movie, and we'll get more animated shows and everything
I've heard the
else.
only thing holding that movie back is there's arguments about who the Robin should be. No one knows
Okay,
who the Robin should be in that movie because
all right.
I guess the
Always for
writer believes
Tim
it should
Drake to be the right
be.
one, right?
Yeah, everyone. The writer believes Tim Drake,
Yeah.
but supposedly other powers think it should be Damien.
Okay. Yeah, because
I
they're
don't think
making a
Damien.
big push for
Damien has the.
Damien in this new universe, aren't they?
They want him to be the Kid Robin for
Right.
the, and they'll be the Teen Titans instead of.
Yeah.
And I think the idea would be that Nightwing will already
Yeah.
have his Titans.
Yeah. Does Max think Batman will show up in the My Adventures of Superman and other Batman?
No, I don't think they'll do a My Adventures with Batman. I think they're continuing with that other
Right.
Batman show that they did.
Okay.
Can't remember, what was that show called?
Um,
The new one that came out last year.
I can't remember. There's so many
Animated
of
Can't
them.
show?
remember yet. Caped Crusader.
Okay, Crusader. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, of course. Yes, we watched
Yeah,
it.
I
Yes,
think
yes.
that's going to be their animated Batman show for now.
Right.
And I
In
think
in
if that
the
show
line
goes,
of the Bruce Timm style of look and vibe is
yeah, I
yeah,
think if that show goes under, then they might do a My Adventures
yeah,
with Batman.
yeah.
But I think more reasonably, they'd probably stick to another character like a Batgirl or someone
Right.
that's a little underexposed right now. Whereas
Yeah.
Batman's a little, he's
Yeah.
always been a little overexposed.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is already halfway through production. That's
So
crazy that we're
excited.
that
That's my
halfway.
most anticipated
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I gave Brandon my side number one.
Sorry, Elijah, you were about to say something? Oh.
Nothing important.
Oh, okay. All right. Nothing. Okay. And then I'm not familiar with the computer game world, but apparently Wonder Woman is being cancelled. The game. I don't know about
Yeah.
Max. Do you know anything about that?
There was a Wonder Woman game in development. I've
Okay.
heard from people who know writers on it that it was very, very well written.
Right.
I heard it was using some, for those out there who do play video games, I heard it
Right.
was similar to like the Shadow of War, Lord of the Rings series, but with Wonder
Okay.
Woman. Um, it was going to use their patented Nemesis system for
Right.
to generate enemies to fight. So you'd always have like a big bad that would be progressively generated by the game.
Right.
And the whole game got scrapped and canceled because another game they made, the Suicide Squad game, I think lost them $500 million, and they shut down like a bunch of game studios because they were kind of like hinging on that game being a success. And then following the wake of Marvel just had a huge success with their game Marvel Rivals, and DC was like, we got to shift gears.
Right. Right.
We can't keep throwing like rocks into a wall and see if it somehow breaks through. Like you gotta follow trends and actually make something that's going to be profitable. I think they're, from what it sounds like, they're reshuffling the deck.
Right. Right. Yeah. Moving on from DC, another image from One Piece, Netflix series season 2, first look, has come out. I guess Mr. Three's candle set in the little garden. I have no idea what that means exactly. I guess we'll find out. But it's cool to see that they're moving forward with getting stuff out there. One thing that's close to my heart, as I've mentioned before, we've got a poster, first look of the Sword of Power from the new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe live-action film. And I gotta say, this sword looks really freaking cool. I like the design of it
It
compared
looks
to...
just like the toy.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. But I
I mean,
really...
even like his forearm, and you can see his little
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
underoos, his little
yeah. Yeah,
hairy
the emblem
woolly
and
mammoth underwear or whatever he's wearing.
yeah, yeah, but just the sword alone, for
Yeah,
me is like I'm kind of hoping that they'll get this going in the right direction as what my childhood would had enjoyed kind of thing. We'll see. I mean, I'm still kind of not convinced that Jared Leto is
He's a
good
skeleton. He's a skeleton.
Yeah.
Like he's
He's a
already
skeleton,
and he's probably
Yeah.
like on another movie where he has
Yeah.
to be like super thin because he's playing a drug
Rivals is
guy.
trash.
Like, hey, I could be a skeleton at the same time and make
Right.
extra money.
Okay. All right.
Because he could
And
be in a
there's a
cloak
real
the whole time. He's just his head. He's like this.
yeah. Yeah, of course. It's got a June 5th, 2026 release date. Anyway, that's my thing for next year. I'm excited to see that. Avatar 3, Fire and Ash. I know Elijah's like, whoopee. 3 hours and 12 minutes long is what James Cameron is saying for this movie. Now, the last one I felt was... Oh, we just lost Elijah. The last one I thought was...
he saw Avatar and he ran.
He saw Avatar and he ran. I thought the last one was pretty long, and it started to get to a point where I was like, yeah, let's end this movie soon because... It's just too long. What do you think, guys? 3 hours and 12 minutes. Will Elijah be there at the
James
theaters?
Cameron massively overestimates how much people really like Avatar. I think it's
guess
because it's successful. Don't mean people really ever think about it. And I think a 3 hour long Avatar movie just sounds exhausting.
Yeah,
that does. You like need like a long, like a break in the middle, just so you have like a,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like
intermission, just a smoke break.
Yeah, intermission. Go out and have dinner and then come back. Like, that could be like 2 separate movies. An hour and a half. Come back in an hour. See the other hour and a half.
The last Avengers film, part 2. That was nearly
Endgame?
3 hours. Endgame. That was 3 hours long though.
Yeah,
right?
but it was well paced and it was built up by a series of like 20 movies.
Sure.
Avatar 3 is going to be like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Because, you keep spending 10 years making these movies.
Quite honestly, I felt like Avatar 2 was the same as Avatar 1. It had the exact same
Yes, he has
pacing.
not found a new plot.
Exactly.
He's looking
I think he was rehashing it to kind of rebuild the same vibe so people could come to the audience and get the feel that he tried to do,
well, I just think you don't understand. This is the fire tribe we're dealing with now. It's completely different than what we've ever seen before. The last one was water, and then this one's fire. Yeah. So it's like
it's fire and water. That's why it's called fire.
No,
and
fire
ash.
And ash. It's
just fire and ash,
now.
But there is
Oh, it's not Ash from Evil Dead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no.
That would be great.
That would have made it way better.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Brent, the poster for the turtles is in the private chat if you want to look at it. It's because you don't have to do it right now, but later the poster's kind of cool.
Okay, all right. Oh wow, okay.
And it says something like you've never seen it before, so I don't know if that means that there's more footage in it or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
That's probably means HD.
Yeah, let's see a snapshot of that. I'll pull it back in a second. Okay, anyway, that's enough about Avatar because it's like, I'll probably go see it, but at the same time, I am not really, fully invested beyond seeing it once. And I feel like these movies might have a downgrade of interest from the audience.
Yeah, it seems like they have already have.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like Max says,
we'll
people
see.
like them. I don't see people wearing Avatar shirts around town.
Yeah. Here's that poster you just posted the link to. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Turtles Live. So, yeah, okay. I had
you've never seen it before, they're back, like you've never seen them before. Like, what does that mean? That made me think maybe is it like you've never seen them before, that makes me think that they added more scenes into the movie, like cut out scenes that weren't in it. Because I know there are some scenes that weren't in the original.
Yeah. Anyway. Interesting. Maybe it's a re-edit. Who knows? The only thing I can probably tell you about the last Avatar: the water people don't like the sky people, and the little girl is magic or something. Yeah. Basically, that's all I remember of it. I mean, again, I think the technology is fantastic, but I've seen the technology now twice, and we're about to see it a third time.
It's the story that's the problem. The movies look good.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from Avatar because we've got plenty of other things to talk about. Keanu Reeves has been asked to act in a film called Berserk. Do you know anything about
Berserker. Let
this?
me grab it. Let me
Berserker.
grab it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let
Oh
me
yeah,
grab it. I know what we're
Berserker.
talking about. Berserker.
I don't know. Okay, all right.
All right, let's talk about Berserker. So this
Oh
is a
no.
book.
Oh, okay. Everybody out there, you must realize that when I am actually pulling these things up, I have
You
not
don't know
talked
what's
to
going on.
Max whatsoever about the randomness of I just saw this article yesterday and I'm pulling it up.
Of
So
course, he's going to have the
the
comic book.
fact
I mean,
that he
he's
has it
gonna pull it
right
out
in arm's reach is hysterical to me.
because he lives on top of his comic book collection now.
He
Because he's got
really
no other floor
does.
space. He's
He
turning it into like
sleeps on it, I'm
his
sure.
long
It is
boxes is
encasing me
now
a
like
little bit,
a
but that's a
second
different,
floor.
different.
Okay, all right. So yes, Max Berserker, tell us, please.
So this is a book actually written by
Okay.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was his this is his comic. He's still
Oh,
writing it. He's still making.
okay.
He's doing other stuff in the Berserker universe. He's putting out Berserker novels, Berserker one shots.
Right.
He's all in on Berserker. It's
Oh,
some cool
cool.
stuff. It's
Too
like
bad Kevin Smith didn't copyright Berserker.
yeah. Apparently, he had the idea when they wouldn't let him play. Marvel said no to him playing Wolverine.
Yeah.
Apparently, he really sought that role out, and they said no. So
Okay.
it's about a different immortal soldier who's way more of a
Okay.
different kind of immortal soldier who doesn't know whose past is kind of an
Um,
enigma. Some of it is an enigma to him, and some of it he remembers doing horrible things. So it's very much in the line of Wolverine.
right.
What people like about Wolverine, but more like an assassin type character.
DC, Marvel, something totally
Boom
different. Booms.
Studios.
Oh, Boom Studios. Okay. All right. Well, that'll be
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, yeah, Justin Lin. What has he done? I know that name.
Fast and Furious. He's
Oh,
done a
okay.
bunch of
All right.
other
Okay.
movies, but I know he's done a Fast and Furious movie.
Anyway, okay. His approach to try to move forward and actually do that. So, yeah, that'd be kind of
I
fun.
totally missed my shot to get this signed by Keanu. There was like
Oh,
a day I
really?
woke up at Golden Apple posted like secret
Yeah.
signing, and it was in like the Berserker font. And I
Yeah.
was like, it's probably just the other writer, Matt Kent, or one of the artists.
Right. Right.
And I just stayed in bed, and then I like looked at Brand. I got up and I looked at Brand. I was like,
Yeah.
probably Keanu Reeves. So you think we can take it down there?
Yeah.
Like, you want to go? He goes, I don't want to. I don't want to. You don't want to take the risk of it not being Keanu Reeves.
But it was.
It was Keanu Reeves.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's on for anyone who showed up within a certain window.
Uh-huh. They dropped a new trailer for The Last of Us, and they're saying that part 3 might not happen.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I need part 3. I need this.
Season 2, April 13th is when it comes out. Yeah, good trailer, you know.
This,
Lots of moody
you
moments.
guys are in for a wild ride. The second game
Alright.
is not only one of my favorite games gameplay wise, I think it is the best written game of all time.
Okay.
It's a story that pulls absolutely no punches in the way it's trying to be told. It's
Okay.
telling a story. I'll tell more about it once we wrap it up, but it's a story about what revenge means to people
All right. Okay.
and how we live our life with regrets. And what if we live our lives with stuff that should be regrets, but they're not regrets? I mean, last we saw, I don't know if anyone didn't see Last of Us 1 yet, but last we saw Joel, he did something absolutely terrible to save Ellie's life, something that is not just bad for him, but bad for all of humanity.
Yeah.
And it's the idea of regrets and revenge, and it's just a really interesting story about that next season.
What's that? Oh, it kind of confirms Pedro is not going to be in Japan. I don't know. Is he not?
be in
I
Japan.
thought he
He's
mentioned.
done filming everything right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know why they're. Yeah, Neil Druckmann says The Last of Us Part 3 might not happen. I don't. I guess the only thing I would say
I don't know.
is don't bet
I think it's
on
because
there being
PlayStation
anything.
Studios is shifting. That's the
Could
only thing
be.
to think of. But the thing is, we need a part 3 to tell the story because
Sure.
I don't know. It's
Okay.
a different experience playing these stories and living with these characters for
Right.
like 20, 40 hours, whatever it is.
It's not because of Pedro Pascal's schedule, because it took a year.
No, he's not involved in the game. He's talking about the game
Right.
part 3.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the movie Part 3. Oh, okay. The
No,
series,
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's-
Oh, I
yeah,
thought he was
it's the
referring to the
game.
series. Oh, okay. All right. All right, so let's move on again. Tom Holland has reportedly arrived in Morocco and to begin filming Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. And then next up, he suits up Avengers Doomsday in Spider-Man 4. I don't know if that's an official confirmation that he's going to be in Doomsday, but
I think he's already announced to be in those
oh, he
movies.
is. Okay,
And
all
they
right.
announced to the stockholders who they announced all that
Okay,
stuff. So
I'm
they
sure
can.
it's
yeah,
cameo parts where he can shoot it out in a week or two or something like that.
sure. And then
I've
and
heard I've heard it's mostly stunt double work, and it's
Yeah,
mostly going to be stand-ins and stunt doubles, and he's going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
writing a
When he
voice
takes
there
off
to
his
keep
mask and
Spider-Man
he has
behind
a
the
yeah,
mask.
couple,
yeah.
yeah, a
I
couple
mean,
lines
he's
of
so busy
dialogue and
these
that kind of thing.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if he's
Um.
making a Christopher Nolan film, he's going to be doing that for like a year
Yeah.
and a half or something like
Well,
Yeah.
apparently, Robert Downey Jr. turned the role of Poseidon down to play
Really.
Doctor Doom, and now he's writing
Huh.
Doctor Doom's backstory because he's so invested in
I
Doctor
did read
Doom.
that. Yeah.
I
I
get it. I think Doctor Doom is a more interesting character than Poseidon. I think
s-
honestly he
yeah.
is.
So I mean, I don't know if I should be able to show this or not. The images of the artwork. There's
Oh,
four
don't just people
there.
if people have seen
Well,
them. If they're watching
okay.
this, they probably have seen them. So you can just describe
Right.
them just in case
Yeah.
you get
There is
whatever.
four official pieces of artwork though for Fantastic Four that are
It's
Oh,
coming
no,
good,
out.
good.
actually you could show them.
Okay.
It's so the artist freely published it. It's not
Okay.
on. We're not breaking any NDAs. We
All
didn't
right.
sign
Okay.
anything with them.
Okay. All right. Well, these are some official artwork. I like the design of the city. The
Yeah, it's
big
very
one.
Yeah, that's cool.
utopian.
Yeah, this one not officially released as part of this official release, but has been out there of Doctor Doom itself. I was trying to avoid this information, and because I thought it was actual real
We know
massive
Doctor Doom's
information.
coming.
Yeah, I know, but I guess I like the design of it. I like the artwork that goes with it. I think the art of this book is going to be
There was
quite
some
beautiful.
spoilery stuff in the other
Yeah.
artwork. I don't know if you saw those.
I didn't know. Again, I
Yeah,
avoided a lot of information that I was trying to avoid major spoils too. But the first one that someone dropped in front of my face was the Doctor Doom. But the other stuff is just official stuff that they're officially releasing. I mean, it looks fun. I'm hoping this dynamic works well. It also goes in tow with what Disney are going to be doing at the theme parks. Fantastic Four are going to be appearing in Disney parks this summer. Makes perfect
the
sense.
Herbie
And
animatronic.
Herbie
California
animatronic.
Adventure, then it's got to be in like the Marvel.
No, it's
No,
it's gonna be what I read was Space Mountain. Actually, is what they're gonna be
what?
doing something connected with Fantastic Four. Yeah,
That makes sense. They're gonna just do like a launch thing where it's gonna be Reed Richards over the intercom because they
yeah,
like to do that now. They'll take the celebrity, put him in the
Tomorrowland.
booth
Yeah,
for 10 minutes. Yeah, have him
yeah,
record some lines, and it'll be like, "This is your guest pilot, Captain Reed
yeah,
Richards, announcing your takeoff."
yeah. Well, I mean, if you've been on Space Mountain when they actually had the Star Wars stuff and they put in video footage of TIE fighters flying past and this and that, it was actually kind of fun.
Oh, I don't remember
Uh,
that.
No, I know they
yeah,
have Star Tours next door, which is
yeah.
I don't know why they've never moved it.
Well, no. Star Tours was there, but Space Mountain itself did do projections of TIE fighters and X-wings and space
I
battles
remember
as
that
you're going
happening. Now
through.
that you say it, but I never
Yeah,
saw it. I
yeah.
never went through it.
It was
I
actually it
never
was
I
actually
missed
decent.
that.
There was a few moments where it was like, okay, this is actually feeling quite the depth of space and movement. It was kind of cool. I assume they're going to do the same thing then with Fantastic Four. Continuing
It's just
on,
Reed stretching out along the whole wall.
Uh,
who knows? The Russo brothers were asked about the upcoming Avengers film. They're saying that these movies are going to be a surprise for people. They found a way into the story that's exciting to them. A very
It was called a
radical.
dump truck of cash.
It's probably called a
I'm just
dump
kidding.
truck of cash.
I'm
We
just
think it's going to
kidding.
be challenging audiences. So I do like that. I like that mindset. And the Russo brothers are really pretty spot on when it comes to what they pull to the table with that stuff. So I'm
I think
curious
all
to
their
see what they
Marvel
do.
stuff's been really, really solid.
Yeah,
I think
their
it's
stuff. Yeah.
interesting they're reteaming with Robert Downey Jr. specifically.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's going to be some because they're coming back and they have a good rapport
Yeah.
with the rest of the core Avengers that aren't in the bigger movies anymore. I think that we're going to get some
Yeah.
more surprises because of who they like to work with.
Yeah.
Um, but I've also heard that this is going to be like young Avenger stuff in the movie. That's going to be
Mm,
the stuff everyone's kind of waiting for and the stuff everyone's kind of
I
like
hope so.
wanting to see.
Moving forward, yeah. We'll be talking about Andor 2 very soon, Chris. Hang on. But yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, 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 yeah. Moving on. Apparently, they're moving forward with the X-Men first
Yes.
X-Men movie now. It's currently the focus of X-Men currently, so live action film, not animated. So you know, we assume that was coming. I'm wondering whether they're going to tie in anything in Doomsday related
No,
to.
it's going to be the first movie after Doomsday. They're going
You
to
think so?
be yes, yes. I
Makes
know for a
sense.
fact.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Just quickly, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man season 2 will be released in 2026. We kind of gathered that. And Wonder Man will have run times around 20 to 40 minutes per episode. That's this year, right? When does that get released? It should be soon, right?
I don't know. We need Anthony. He needs to leak us more
Good
information.
point. Yeah, yes, yes. A friend of ours worked on the show. um, we'll do Daredevil last. Let's jump into a bit of Star Wars news first, guys. Starting with Revenge of the Sith is getting a theatrical release April
Oh, who
25th.
wants to see that?
Me, I want
Me,
to see that.
me, all
I
the
want to see
way.
that on the big screen. Yeah,
You're doing it wrong.
Elijah.
No.
I don't want
Elijah,
to.
you don't have to go see it.
I'm
We
not
will
going
def.
to.
I know you're not going to
I got
because
on DVD
you won't.
here.
Oops. We just lost Elijah.
Blasphemy!
Sorry,
Blasphemy!
Elijah, you got it on
Right.
DVD. You've never sat and watched it
I've
on.
got a DVD. It's still sealed. I'm never gonna watch it. I'm not gonna
Wait,
watch it in the theater
you've never
again.
actually seen it?
No, I've seen it. I saw it in the
You
theater.
saw the
Like
Okay,
big screen.
okay.
I probably saw it once or twice after that,
Uh
but
huh.
it's just so
Uh huh.
stupid.
It's not
Honestly, okay, here's my
stupid.
opinion. Go back to this. If you don't like Phantom Menace,
Oh,
just watch the second and third.
Uh huh. Well, either way, April 25th is the release. I really want to get this poster. It's a beautiful piece. Um, and yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I can't wait to re-watch it on the big screen. I mean, I've seen everything else. Uh, you'll be in Japan. Yeah, you're going to Detroit to Star Wars Celebration in
oh,
Japan.
he's
You
our
lucky
man on the
bastard.
inside. He's gonna get all
The man on the inside. There's a couple of people on the inside that hopefully will be shedding
We
us
need
light and
special reporters
information.
from Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few people that I know who are going now. It's like, God damn it. Yeah, it's just too much. I'm also not a big traveler at the same time. So,
I mean, Japan's a
um,
long way for a Star Wars convention when it's
mhm.
Japan is apparently super cheap. The dollar is stronger than
I heard
the
it's very
yeah,
good
yen.
right
It's
now.
like
Yeah,
money goes a long way there right now.
yeah.
the flights are expensive,
Hmm.
but like stuff like hotels are way more reasonably priced than
But
Yeah.
if you get a girlfriend who's also an air host, then you can get free flights, or
There you go.
very discount.
That sounds like a lot of work, Elijah.
So everyone try to find a girlfriend that is an air host or a
Host. Fair enough. Fair enough.
whatever
Um,
that's called now.
First official images have been coming out of Mando and Grogu movie, which have showed the droids from Disneyland
the
that the
droids from Fallen
Imagineering team
Order,
worked on.
the
Huh?
BD droids.
Yeah, these are no, these are the ones that they created for the theme parks.
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, yeah. But this is officially looking at sets of Mando and Grogu because this is on the set of Mando and Grogu. This feels like these guys might be in the Rebel base that we saw. I want to say when do we see Zeb? We saw Zeb in Mandalorian, right? Yeah, on that
Yeah.
base, Delphine base, I think it's called. This looks like it's actually on Delphine base, just from the architecture of everything around it. But these are officially being released as part of the BDX droids, Walt Disney Engineering, and of course the film comes out May 2026. I can't wait to see what post production do for this film because it's gonna have to be visually insane to
I really want to know what the plot is.
they gotta yeah.
I'm more curious about
Mhm.
why the plot justifies it being a
Right.
movie more than a show. Rather than just pure spectacle, I want to know why
Yeah.
the plot justifies it being a movie.
Sure. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I kind of know things, but I'm not going to say anything about it. So
Oh man, is Chewbacca back?
it's Chewbacca back. I don't actually. I have no idea. Smuggler's
Oh, it
Run
means
ride
he
experience.
is. Oh,
Yeah,
you spoiled Chewbacca for all of us.
it's Chewbacca's not in the film. But Smuggler's Run ride. They are going to be tying in Mandalorian and Grogu for next year. So from what I understand, they're going to take the Millennium Falcon ride and they're going to redo it up and put in a new adventure based in the Mandalorian and the
Yeah, they
Grogu
do that
movie.
every couple of years. They do a couple of refreshes on it.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. It's a simple enough thing to actually. Well, I don't say simple lightly, but it's like
It's just
it's something
CG. It's
that.
not like redoing a whole roller
Yeah,
coaster. It's
yeah.
the
It's a
idea why they do
well,
those
technically,
green
yeah,
rides.
because they would have to program different movements. They would probably have to program
Well,
different
yes,
things
but
and
it's
all
the
that.
idea of why they do those screen rides because those
Yeah.
are easily programmable and they
Hmm.
can get CG from in-universe assets that they already
Yeah.
constructed.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than redoing a roller coaster every couple years.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, and it's easy enough to keep everything the aesthetics the same too. Skeleton Crew, they've been dropping a lot of behind the scenes imagery recently, including some of the creatures, which there's some
Yeah,
really
that's
cool,
cool.
very bright, colorful stuff. This one I found really cool. It's the kid who plays Neil, and they actually have just to limit the movement of his body and his head, just knowing where the trunk is. I like the fact that they actually were able to put the camera move points on, to digitize the head and all that. But it was kind of cool. Jump into Andor. We are going to be getting 4 episodes. 4 weeks of 3 episodes a week. This is the official schedule. April 22nd. I don't know the length of these episodes yet.
So wait
I
a minute, we get
imagine
3 episodes dropped on one day.
yes,
Yeah.
like a little mini movie. So I know it's going to be tight. I think when we
That's
go to
different
edit,
from what we were used to. It's just like,
no, it
gosh,
is.
that's a
Well,
lot of time to devote and watch 3 episodes. Plus, you're like, why 3 episodes? Just to make it all one episode, make it
no,
one long,
because
like make it a movie,
no, because each episode actually is based
a different year or a
around
different time. Okay.
a different each year. So yeah, so you are getting a story within a year kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to seeing that. I don't know. I imagine our movies are going to be somewhere between probably 1 hour 10 minutes to an hour and a half between each story arc. So we are literally going to be getting a mini movie. So we're definitely going to record those, react to them. I'll wait and see how much reaction there is needed in each episode. Whether I break it down into 3 individual episodes or just put it as a mini movie. Chances are it'll just be a mini movie. But they've dropped along with that the new trailer. We've got some new posters.
With very weird music or a very weird out of place
Yeah.
pop song on top of it, which I was just like,
Yeah,
what is happening?
yeah,
I know we didn't get to
Uh-huh.
watch that together, but that was the
yeah.
main standout to me.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, Chris. They'll probably be showing it there, right, in Japan, because it releases the same week that Celebration is happening. At least the first story on April 22nd. That's going to be a crazy week for everybody, especially the people who are actually in Japan. Because I remember when they showed the Kenobi episodes 1 and 2, it was really hard to get into. I didn't get the chance to get in to see Kenobi when they had a celebration here. They had it. It was limited seats, so it's like we didn't get to see it that night, and it was disappointing. But Andor, they showed a trailer. We've got plenty of images from it. What did you guys think of the trailer?
The music was out of place and kind of ruined the trailer for me, but
that's what I was just
visually
saying.
it's good.
It looked good, but like if we had
Right.
some actual Star Wars music in there and not like
Yeah,
I don't know what band that was, but
something
was
from
definitely not
the
in place
late
for.
80s or 90s. Yeah,
No, it's current. It just sounds like
yeah,
it's got that retro sound to it. It's current.
yeah. I think visually it looks stunning. It looks spectacular.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, K2SO is in it. Obviously, Alan Tudyk is back in that. Um, there's a lot of things going on. Visually, I like this new TIE fighter. It's called the TIE Avenger, apparently, according to books. But
Another toy that you're gonna have to buy.
oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, most definitely. I
Look
want
how
that
happy
toy.
he is about it, though.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I'm excited about a
I'm so
TIE
excited.
Avenger as a toy. Absolutely. Oh yeah. No, that's the
Add
one
to
thing that made
your
my week. It's
collection
like,
of
ooh,
ships.
brand new TIE fighter, a new toy. I can't wait. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious. It there's certain characters that obviously you're gonna meet a demise before the end of the show. Lutheran, I think, is the big one that is gonna be like. We all assume he's gonna die by the end of this series. I assume the darkness of the show will treat it that way, but we'll see.
He's going into hiding on Alderaan.
He got an Alderaan. He goes into hiding on Dagobah. Yoda's got a friend
He's
to
Yoda's
talk to.
neighbor.
Yeah, until Yoda gets rid of him because he's too annoying. Yoda didn't want to buy that piece of merch that he was trying to sell. I don't know. Either way, it was a cool. It was a cool. Yeah, Luthen is gonna die, and we assume we might be all surprised that he might not die. I mean, who knows? That could be kind of cool. Get
I
the
saw the
adventures.
dumbest theory that it was so good, it was so funny, it was bad. It was so thought out bad. Someone had the idea that Mon Mothma is a code name and not a person, and the Mon Mothma we know will
No,
die and be replaced by a new Mon Mothma. And I was like, I don't think you get it.
no.
Mon Mothma is her name.
Yeah, that's a yeah. It's not a
It's
code,
not a code name.
Code name, operation name.
but
And
there
in
is
Mon
some
Mothma too.
there's
Yeah,
some
right. I
interest.
made me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, there's interesting things. There's a celebration on Coruscant that is going on. They're all dancing and stuff. I assume that's her daughter's wedding because she was the daughter, if you remember, was being set up to
Yes.
be
Oh yeah.
getting wed to the. He wasn't a crime lord, but he was one of the someone else, kind of another character. So I'm curious. Again, it's like they've got all these little side characters that I'm curious to see how their story goes on in the Star Wars universe. So that'll be interesting to see. But we also are going to get to see, as you said, we talked about before, the Battle of Gorman, I think it is, which is going to be like the huge massacre that the Empire do on a public, on a planet. And I'm curious to see how that plays out visually and how effective that's going to be. We've seen images of Star Destroyers over the planet in some of those images that they've dropped on the trailer and all that. So, I'm excited to see where it goes. Any other Andor thoughts there, guys?
I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
It looks like the trailer's like a shift of tone from the first season, but I think it could just
yeah,
be the trailer.
yeah. We'll jump in with a bit of Invincible. This episode, let's talk about this briefly, Max. Episode
Did
7.
we all see it? Can I tell how much can I say?
I think we could. I think we could talk a little bit about it. If we are going to put up spoilers in case, but spoilers for episode 7 of this week's Invincible.
All right,
What were your thoughts, Max?
this was the Invincible War. I mean, this
Okay.
was the episode I was waiting for kind of all season.
Okay.
It's the doozy. I mean, we had Angstrom Levy bring back all the crazy Invincibles you could think of to
Hmm.
wreak havoc on the city. And even though people
Right.
know it's not their Invincible because they know
Yeah.
there's a bunch of them,
Hmm.
it still puts all that weight and pressure on Mark, which has been building all season.
Yeah.
And it's just such a peak of him trying to handle a dual identity
Yeah.
and it being too much for him thinking about walking away, him unsure what to do,
Right.
and it shows he's kind of trapped in this life
Yeah.
in a few ways. I mean, we'll get to the ending, but before that, I mean, it was interesting how the whole world had to kind of rally around Mark, not just the whole
Yeah.
GDA, but the whole world. We got cameos
Mm.
from characters like Wolfman. We got Britt in the show now. Britt was another character Robert Kirkman created that ended up becoming a big part of Invincible, and he became one of my favorite parts. Britt is awesome.
Okay.
We had Tech Jacket in space. There was just so
I
much going on.
the fact that here's the one problem from the animated stuff is that because they had to speed read through a lot of this stuff, I guess that was related in the comics. I
Yes.
I have no connection to these other characters, these other superheroes.
Well, I
I
mean,
assume
the other
it's a
superheroes
world
are
of
just thrown in for
superheroes.
fans. Those
Yeah, it's
those are thrown in
Oh,
for
totally.
fan service. For
Right.
reference, in the comic, it's
Yeah.
all the Image Comics characters. So
Gotcha.
it's
Okay.
all of Rob
Yeah.
Liefeld, Todd McFarlane,
Yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
Larson, all those guys.
Right.
But the show was only using
Stuff.
Kirkman
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think my biggest complaint about this is it should have been. I feel like it should have been a two-parter
Yes.
with just the events of whatever. Because I assume at the end of the episode, the marks have left Earth at this point, and
Yes,
they've
Ancient
moved
Levy
on.
took care of
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I'm just trying to avoid too many spoilers, but anyway, I would like to have seen a little bit more of the dynamic of, we got these aftermaths of this Mark doing this and this and this on different parts of the planet. I feel
This is
like,
the crazy thing about this part of the story, because I know what you're going to say is you want more of each
yeah,
individual thing, like it was a season
yeah,
finale. The thing is, this wasn't the season finale. This is
right,
the building block that actually
sure,
shows how weak the world is,
right,
uh, and how much they actually need Invincible.
yeah,
That's what that episode was really showing, is
right.
that,
Because that'll be
as
next week
strong as
because
those
of the way
other
they left it.
superheroes are,
Yeah,
it's you need Invincible. Because what
yeah,
happens if other Viltrumites get together and like, let's take Earth? What
yeah,
happens then? Like, you've already
right,
a bunch of marks kicked your ass. What happens if people who are full-blooded strong Viltrumites come through?
yeah,
It's like that episode, as big of an event it seemed, it was like the idea of, in the comic, it was the event before the main dish, and
right.
the main dish is, yeah, it's about to be served.
Well, I mean, most shows usually the penultimate episode, which is episode 7, there usually are the big battle things. So you're saying there's something bigger coming next. Well, again, we were
We
introduced to
saw that
something.
in this
We
episode.
we were
Yeah,
introduced to a character, but I don't know how big or dynamic this
biggest.
is
Well, not the
biggest.
biggest.
Okay,
There's
all right,
one.
okay,
There's
all right,
one guy that's bigger than
okay,
him.
all right,
There's
okay,
one
all right,
guy
okay,
that's bigger than him.
okay.
But
But it is interesting
this
that
this
they,
guy Conquest,
yeah,
the guy, he's like the next big bad for a bunch of the story.
okay, all right, okay,
And it was
all
the
right,
idea of showing, like, Mark thought he was real tough, beating up on Angstrom Levy. He thought he was like, he's like, I defeated you. You defeated a guy with no fighting powers, just
right,
portals
okay,
to multiverses, right?
yeah,
And now he has to deal with not only the fallout of his own actions,
uh huh,
but someone with real strength and real
right,
power. And
yeah,
the
okay,
world has already just been weakened, had to deal with that. And it's
all
such a
right,
great story twist. Robert Kirkman he knows how to bring the story to that level and then take that turn and go deeper into the darkness.
okay. Anyway, we'll move on from Invincible. Yes, yes, and Command. I remember you saying you're going to be meeting Charlie Cox next Saturday at a convention. That's cool. I don't know what questions to ask. If you were to ask Charlie Cox a question, what would it be? I guess I don't know. Either way, we did watch the first 2 episodes of Daredevil. What are your thoughts, guys?
I liked it.
Man,
It's good. The characters
Yeah.
are the same. Obviously, the
Mm-hmm.
actors are great, and it
Yeah.
seems like it's gonna be just as good as the last ones that we saw. So I'm excited to see more fights and more Daredevil, because we didn't get
Mm-hmm.
much in the first 2 episodes of actual Daredevil action. But I'm
Yeah.
sure they're
I
gonna
mean,
hold it per episode, and there's gonna be
yeah.
one Daredevil, one
Yeah.
heavy episode when he's in the costume and kicking a bunch of
Yeah.
ass, and then go back to
Yeah.
like being a lawyer.
Considering the original scripting before they changed it at the rewrites after the writer's strike and the actor's strike, we were not going to get Daredevil till episode 6. That was the original layout, apparently.
But it
I'm
was
glad.
6 out of 18. I want to
Yeah,
put that in
yeah,
perspective, because people keep
yeah,
saying that it was 6 out of 18. You
yeah,
were still going to get him for a majority of the
yeah,
show,
yeah. But
but
still, yeah.
yeah,
I still feel
I think
like
it's going
they.
to be episode 3. I think
Yeah,
next week he's jumping. I think that
That feels
scream
yeah.
at
that
the
feels
end of
I
about
feel
right.
episode
like
2.
feels
Feels
about
about right.
right too. Yeah. I mean,
It felt
they
like he
did.
was screaming, being like, "No,
Yeah.
why couldn't I just be able to walk away and not
Uh
have
huh.
this be my life?" But of course, he has to get dragged back in because cops are now identifying with the Punisher, and he's like, "No,
Yeah.
he's the devil." It's the thing about his guilty conscience is he hates the fact that the devil has to be the city's guiding light.
Yeah.
That's kind of his whole duality. Is
Yeah.
he hates it. He doesn't like that. He thinks that he's the guiding light. He thinks he's the wrong
Yeah.
person for
Yeah.
that aspect of the job. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's thrust upon him once again because he can't have them idolizing the Punisher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it, because we also get the Punisher later on in this show. I forgot that he was in the commercial, on the trailer for it. So, I
There's a
I
whole
liked
trailer
it.
just his monologue.
Yeah, I liked it. There was definitely still a slightly different vibe that Disney puts towards their shows, and there's this thing about Disney that tend to, and I keep saying this, they tend to take an existing product and they try to change it so much to rebrand it as their own new product. And this happened in Star Wars. This happened in some of the MCU stuff that they took on, later on with well, the with stuff there. That you actually lose sight of why these characters might have fallen. I still feel that The Force Awakens would have been a much better film if we saw why Luke Skywalker lost his Jedi Temple at the beginning of the film to put them into that. You need the audience to feel that fall with the character, and we got that in the first episode. I completely understood why Daredevil had fallen so low to walk away from that character, and in the original story was supposedly, understandably, this was all off screen, and we would never have seen this except through conversation. And I'm sorry, that just doesn't work. You want your audience to be that emotionally involved with the moment to why the character walked away from something. And I'm glad that they made a choice to actually go back and reshoot this stuff, bring in the original actors who.
And it was a hell of an intro. I mean,
Yeah, it was
besides
a
the
great intro.
emotional weight of hearing
Yeah,
the heartbeats, the fight
yeah,
was absolutely. It's funny. Brandon said he
absolutely.
hated it because Daredevil was took too many knives to the stomach. I'm like, that's Daredevil's whole thing. Is he just
Yeah,
like doesn't even. He's the man
yeah.
without fear. He'll
Uh
tank all
huh.
that
Uh
stuff.
huh.
It's like him and Moon
Yeah.
Knight, the guys with no like physical
Yeah.
powers.
Yeah.
They show up and they're like, all right, where's Thanos? I got
Yeah.
two fists waiting for his mouth. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think that's kind of the fun of Daredevil and Bullseye fighting is that they're both so accurate they won't miss each other, so they're just gonna beat
Sure.
each other up until one of them falls over.
Yeah, that's it. Till one of them bleeds out or something like that. But again, it's just like there's this element of I really wish that Disney would not try to rebrand themselves and walk away from earlier events. I mean, Ahsoka had the same problem. Why did Ahsoka get so grumpy and moody and all this sort of stuff?
Yeah.
And I had picked
If
up
you
on
buy
that.
Marvel, keep it Marvel. Don't Disneyify it. You know.
Right? Yeah, yeah. And the fact
He's
is, I
my
would.
Marvel.
Yeah, for Ahsoka to have walked away and for Sabine Wren to have walked away in the Ahsoka series, I feel like that show would have been a lot better to have shown why this happened way earlier than they did, because it didn't form the payoff of when they finally got back together at the end, in my opinion. And again, it goes back to Luke Skywalker. Why did Luke Skywalker walk away
Well,
from
that
being
was
a
the smartest
Jedi?
thing they did
That
was
was so
show
key.
that
Yeah,
they showed the reason why Matt's life fell apart. And then
yeah,
they're showing Matt rebuilding his life in a different way. It's not. I
sure.
feel like what's
Yeah,
smart about it is it's not a
yeah.
show about
But
Matt
the
rebuilding his life
right,
again. He's already rebuilt his life. 51
yes,
years
yeah,
later, it's
yeah,
happened. We've
yeah.
gotten his whole new crew.
But the
We're going to
audience
have the
needs to
lingering
feel
threads
the
come back.
emotion of, yeah, the audience needs to feel the emotion of why that character we've loved so much from a completely different network, from a completely different show,
I
even though
mean,
they're the
yeah,
same
the
actors. We
cold
need to
open,
see,
like
yeah,
was I think it was Disney Plus or Disney's strongest TV show cold open of
absolutely.
all of
Oh,
them. It
completely,
was
completely.
it had the fight
Yeah,
on an intense scale,
yeah,
which is completely adrenaline
yeah,
pumping. Then it had
yeah,
the with all the great
yeah,
comic posy stuff.
yeah,
It had Daredevil on the
yeah.
in the front of the church, just kind of like it was just like he's just being all moody. He's just doing his
Uh huh.
Daredevil thing for no
Uh
reason.
huh. Yeah.
Um, and then you had the heartbeat thing, which was kind of the
Yeah.
emotional core of it, getting the audience
Right.
like really on the edge of
Totally.
your seat,
Yeah.
like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is crazy. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I just think it was a smart move to
Yeah.
do that, but it also brings the idea of these lingering threads kind of come back throughout the rest of
Yeah.
the character's lifespan. It leaves the Netflix show open as
Yeah.
this all happened. This
Yeah.
is what's happening going forward,
Yeah.
and it's the idea of well, we have Bullseye in the background, and guess what?
Mhm.
He's back in jail, but he could break
Yeah.
out again or whatever in case guess whoever needs him. You have. I fully
Right.
think Karen ran off to be with the Punisher for some reason. I think she's doing something with the
Mhm.
Punisher. I don't
Okay.
know why, but I feel like that'd be an interesting way to bring those two characters back to the forefront.
Right. Well, moving forward, just in the Daredevil universe here, they've got the list of episodes of. They're pretty long episodes, actually. The first two we've obviously seen. So we range from 39 minutes to another 57 minutes per episode. They're good lengths. I'm looking forward to seeing episode 3 this week. Um, Season 2 will have 8 episodes, from what I
And
understand
it's
now.
filming right now.
Filming right now.
We'll
Yep.
go back to that poster. Actually, I just realized something.
Yeah.
That's like Muse on the back of the poster. The character
Oh, really?
Muse, his like mask is like kind of like that with the
Okay.
crown on it, doing the
I don't
graffiti.
even know if that's related to season 2 or not. It just
That's season one
the
poster.
season 1 poster. Okay.
But I did
Um,
actually, speaking of Muse,
yeah.
I did find out that all the graffiti in the show is done
Yeah.
by former Daredevil artist David Mack.
Oh, really? Oh,
Hmm.
that's nice. That's cool. Um, the sad thing, the second episode, they did a tribute to the actor who plays the White Tiger, uh, uh, Kama de los
Kamar
Reyes.
de los Reyes.
Thank you. Yeah, he passed away from cancer in 2023, which is weird because it's like this show. How much of his stuff they must have shot well beforehand, but yeah, that's kind of nice tribute. I'm looking forward to. We're only just starting to learn who this character is, and I was very excited to see more about this character in the future. Obviously, we're probably not going to get it beyond this season, I'm guessing. So,
And White Tiger's not a
obviously not.
critical Marvel character,
Mm.
but he's a fun character that
The White
people
Tiger,
like.
yeah.
I mean, I've never
Yeah,
I've never been that invested in him as a character,
right.
but I think the show's doing him kind of justice. There was a
Yeah, I
moment
think
that I
the
was
actor's
talking about
great.
Brandon that made me like really get interested in him, and it's just the
Uh-huh.
weirdest things. It's usually something I hate is when he was just like talking about how the idea of the cop dying wasn't his fault, and he just goes, "I didn't even have my amulet on. I had no powers, bro."
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, that's a really interesting law question.
But
Is he
then
still a
says,
superhero if he
yeah,
doesn't have his powers in that moment?"
yeah. I mean, yeah, that is a good ethical question there, isn't it?
I,
Is
yeah, I was
that
like, you
yeah,
gotta just put them at the point of not even a
yeah,
vigilante, but just a concerned
yeah,
citizen at that
yeah.
point. Like, he has no powers. He's just trying to stop a guy from getting beat up. He's
But
not trying to
yeah,
be vigilante about
yeah.
it.
But the cool thing is, just those little drops like that inform us as the audience who may know nothing about the character, which I know nothing about. The fact is that okay, he's one of the characters that have an amulet that is the source of his power. That's kind of
Yeah, it
cool.
tells you enough you need to know about him. It's just how his
Yeah,
powers work,
that's
like
it.
the amulet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
and I
passed down
think
from generations. He's like the whatever generation's White
right.
Tiger.
Yeah. So again, it's like yeah, I'm invested in that character. I'm invested in all the characters. It seems that the Punisher special is going to be in the works at Marvel Studios.
And
John
John
Bernthal will
Berthnell's
return,
writing it.
and yeah, he's going to be co-writing it. So which would be interesting.
Whoa, that's a good director.
I don't know. Oh, King Richard. Yeah, I haven't seen that film.
Ronaldo
Um,
Marcus Green. Yeah,
right.
he's a pretty sought after director right now.
Nice.
I've heard this is the story that's not just testing the audience on if they'll if they'll bring back the Punisher show. I've
Right.
also heard this is testing on how R-rated can they get with Marvel.
Sure.
I've heard this is Deadpool already kind of broke the barrier of
Mm-hmm.
something being R-rated,
Yeah.
and it was gory, but it was fun gory. It wasn't
Yeah.
Frank
Yeah.
Castle going into a place and
Right.
murdering
Right. Right.
everyone
Right.
gory.
Yeah.
And I think they're testing the waters with a different tone. I've heard. Well, I know for a fact Berthnell is a huge fan of the Punisher comics, and
Yeah.
it sounds like he really gets him. It's like he feels bad for Frank as a character, but knows what he's doing is wrong.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the perfect idea for a Punisher writer to not just be like to not heroize him and be like, nice, what he's doing is
Right.
great. I think it sounds like we're getting something super gritty and dark
Yeah.
and R-rated, and I
Yeah.
think it's just going to be. I think they should do more of these specials for that reason, just so they can really
Right.
do characters in their own lights, without having to tie it down to a larger investment.
Elijah, any other thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Daredevil that we've seen so far?
I'm liking it. I like
Yeah.
really how we mentioned I guess maybe we mentioned to ourselves the directing style and like the
Yeah.
first opening sequence was very like 70s like exploitation-y like
Mhm.
New York type of like slow push-ins and slow seemed like I like the style of whoever's directing it or whoever directed
Yeah.
that segment. At least it feels kind
Yeah.
of like kind of Quentin Tarantino-esque or that type of like they're making an effort to give it a certain feel in the filmmaking and the shots of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Season 2, I
That
believe.
stood out to me.
Yeah.
And the BB Urich stuff. That's nice. That felt very like
Yeah.
throwbacky.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like
Really
I like
yeah.
the fact that
aspect
we're
ratio.
Yeah, I like the fact we'll be introduced to this character just through the TV screen, as if you're watching the TV
You
screen.
get everything you need to know. She's
I think
a social justice warrior in the right way. She's going out on the streets and trying to make progressive change.
Yeah. That's a good way to get a lot of information in, just because it's so relatable that you see interviews and news coverage like that. It opens up that world without having to like explain too much.
Yeah. It gives us exposition in a comfortable way. I agree with that. The other thing was that the fact that episode 2 just didn't have any major, fight sequences going on. With,
it did. At the end, it
well,
did.
at the end, it did.
It was crazy.
It was quick.
But I'm saying like no Daredevil.
I'm pretty sure he killed that guy.
Yeah, good point.
I'm pretty sure when he broke that guy's neck, that guy's definitely dead.
Well, okay, but that was a stepping point. But it's like it was a relatively quiet episode in the reference of like massive action, but I think it drove the story really well. I'm driven to those characters. And then let's just, again, the dynamic between Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio at the end of episode 1 is just so
they
good.
had a really weird, that's actually what I want to talk about. They had a really weird dynamic. It wasn't very adversarial, even though they were very much adversaries. Yeah. I mean, most of the talk wasn't adversarial.
I was riveted to everything they were saying. I loved that scene.
But they were like almost laughing at their past. And I'm like, oh. It's a weird rapport they kind of have of like, we haven't seen you in a while, but they're kind of like talking like old friends.
But it was needed too. I feel like it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. You didn't like it as much?
It was fine. I mean, I was just really thrown off by their dynamic. I thought they'd be adversarial from the start. I thought Matt would sit down and he's like, if you step out of line, I'll be there.
I think it's more scary that they're both calm and collective and very talkative. I think that to me, psychology wise, is even more scary to watch as a viewer.
Weird that I felt bad
I love it
this season.
Yeah.
Like his wife is like completely cucking him, and she's like she's like, don't kill him, and he's like, I guess I can't kill that guy. And he's got Daredevil back, and he's like, I just won an election legally, and I can't catch a break.
Well, again, it's like I think that's part of the entertaining drive of what we're going to be seeing in these episodes. So anyway, guys,
I think did he do anything illegal yet this season? Like so far, Matt was kind of being a jerk to him. Like he just won this election, and he's like, hey man, like I'm gonna be there to keep an eye on you. And then he's got to go to freaking family therapy with his wife and sit down with some table and be like, so tell us the problem with your marriage. And he's too big, strong a man.
I do love
with Derek. Like,
I do love the new Matt's new love interest, the psychologist as well.
Oh yeah, that's going to
be. She's right in the middle of everything, which is going to be. I think so too. Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. We'll see.
That one dude that came up to her that was super weird. I'm guessing that was Muse. Yeah. We saw Muse in the first episode spray paint.
Right.
So I'm not going to.
By the way, that's the actor who was in Wednesday. I didn't realize that. He played the bad guy in Wednesday. This series Wednesday.
I've not seen it.
Wait, you still haven't seen Wednesday yet?
I don't like Tim Burton, and I'll die on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No Tim Burton.
A few. I'll watch some, but recent Tim Burton especially I don't like.
No, this Wednesday's entertaining. Anyway, we won't go into that right now. All right, guys. I think we've been going for an hour, 25 minutes nearly, so we'll finish up here. Everybody out there in the chat, thank you for joining us. It's been fun. And also, if you get the chance, please like. And if you're watching this new, just like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I guess we'll talk again in the near future. We'll be doing more reactions to Daredevil episode 3 this week and dropping those. And we shall catch you all later.